Good morning and welcome to GrainTV. Today's April 3rd, 2012. I'm Logan Burgess. To my left is Brock Shimbino. Brock, yesterday saw the big crop progress report come out. Looks like planting is off to a great start here in 2012.
Yesterday did bring us the USDA's first crop progress of the year. As you can see here, corn is off to a fairly good start. We're at 3% planted across the nation. Spring wheat is 8% planted, and then if you take a look at the good to excellent ratings on the winter wheat crop, we're sitting at 58% good to excellent. The thing I would like to note on this is the date at which we achieved this exact same progress last year. You can see corn, we're about 10 days ahead of schedule. Last year we achieved 3% planted on April 11th. Spring wheat, we actually didn't get to this point until May 1st. So we're about a month ahead on spring wheat. Something to keep our eyes on if we have any frost or anything like that, cold weather in those northern plain states. This could be a concern for the winter wheat crop.
Certainly. Well, Brock, kind of a big factor there in getting this crop in the ground is kind of the soil moisture that we're seeing across the United States. Take a look here at a Palmer Drought Index map provided by our friends over at Planalytics. As you can see, Minnesota is still in areas of an extreme drought for most of the state. That's certainly going to help getting that spring wheat crop in the ground. We saw that reflected in planting progress, but it'll be good to keep an eye on this as we move through the growing season if they remain in this extreme drought. One thing to note here, though, take a look in areas of western Illinois. Last week we did not see soil moisture considered to be in a drought in the state of Illinois. That drought's kind of creeping into Illinois, so that'll be good to keep an eye on as far as their corn and soybean crop is concerned. Out east, we're still seeing a lot of soil moisture. Areas of Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana are still saturated. But kind of the big change here that we noticed was this area of Oklahoma that's really picked up some good ground moisture there. You know, Brock, I was talking to some producers down in Texas, and they said that this hard red winter wheat crop is off to a great start down there, the best start they've seen in a long time down in the southern central plains there.
Yeah, and really over the last week or so, we've seen a big change in that area. We've seen a lot more moisture. We have continued to see beneficial rains as we move through their growing season. And this crop is well ahead of schedule, about 10 to 14 days. So that's something we're going to have to keep our eyes on as we move forward. It's going to have some implications for the futures market as well as the cash market later on this season. Something I would like to note on this map, though, is if you take a look at the northern states, we're in extreme drought up there. If you remember last year, we had a lot of preventative acres in these areas, and we were also very wet during most of the planting season, so we didn't get a lot of the planting done until later in the season, which certainly hurt yields as we move forward through that season. But this year's a different story, so I think we're going to get the crop into the ground. It has big implications for actually achieving those 95.5 million acres of planted corn that the USDA was looking for on Friday.
Certainly. Well, as we move here through the growing season, weather is going to be a big factor in this market. Follow us on Twitter at GrainTV is where you can find us. We'll be tweeting as weather anomalies come across the wire that affect you in your growing area. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back and watch these markets trade live.
GrainHedge is more than just futures trading. Clients receive our cash grain optimizer showing spot and forward bids within 200 miles of your farm. We take into account your trucking costs to find your best selling opportunity. We provide in-depth basis mapping, historical basis and cash price charting. Every day we show you your best price and if it meets your profit goals. Contact GrainHedge today to get started.
Welcome back to GrainTV. The markets are open in Chicago, so let's turn over to the FireTip trading software for the live quotes. Nearby corn is up 3 cents, soybeans down 2 cents, wheat in Chicago is down 3 1/4, and Kansas City wheat off another 1.5 cents this morning.
Yeah, Brock, you know, we can see that old crop corn is still kind of the leader here to the upside, up 3 1/4 in Chicago right now, and we're kind of on the heels of that short quarterly stocks report that we saw come out on Friday. Let's hop over here to a Kansas City wheat chart. This is a daily chart for July delivery on the July contract. And as you can see here, the trend is clearly down for Kansas City wheat right now. Let's zoom in here a little closer. You can see the blue line here is the 100-day moving average. We've been kind of trading around that here for the last several weeks or so. And you can see that in this morning's action, we're trading down right off of that. The trend is clearly down on this contract, though. Let's draw some trend line off recent highs, actually going back to April or so. And you can see that we should be seeing upside resistance around that 720 area for this contract. But really the fundamentals right now are kind of down. The crop domestically here is off to a great start. I know we looked at the cash market a little bit for hardwood winter wheat this morning, Brock. Can you take us through kind of what we're looking at here? What are we seeing on the ground right now?
Yeah, this is the basis map basically for the July contract delivery. And what we've seen is weakening of the basis down in the southern plains, where we've seen ample soil moisture levels. We've seen a good start to the crop. The good to excellent ratings are well ahead of where they were last year.
Right.
But in the northern states, where we saw dry soil moisture levels earlier in the show, we do see basis strengthening about 7 to 9 cents up in that area. So there's a couple ways that producers really need to handle these markets in their local areas.
Yeah, certainly, Brock. If you're a producer, in the southern area where we are seeing basis decline a little bit, if we see soil moisture continue to improve throughout the growing season, it might be prudent right now to lock in that basis, maybe lock in a forward contract. On the other side of things, up north, where for producers up there, we could see basis continue to improve if soil moistures kind of remain below average. Where we've seen, they're in a substantial drought in areas of Minnesota. If that goes to the Dakotas, it could be good to let this thing ride. There's a lot of ways to play it, though. If you have any questions about ideas for your own cash marketing strategy, certainly give us a call here at the office. I think that wraps up our show here for Tuesday morning. Have a great rest of your day.